Hello, friends. Today I will tell you a story about the power of compassion and how it can change everything. Hello, friends. Today I will tell you a story about the power of compassion and how it can change everything. Once upon a time in a dense forest, there lived a lone wolf. He was strong and brave, but he was often lonely. One day, while hunting for food, he heard some strange sounds. Wolves were howling, but not just any wolves. It was a whole pack, and they were calling out to each other. The sound was mournful and echoed through the trees. Our lone wolf couldn't help but feel drawn to them. Curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to investigate. As he got closer, he could hear the wolves talking in hushed tones, their bodies huddled together for warmth. He found them gathered around a small fire, and despite their usual predatory nature, these wolves seemed downcast and dejected. Their leader, a majestic gray wolf with a limp, noticed our hero approaching and let out a deep bark. The other wolves tensed up, ready to defend themselves. But the leader raised his head and said, "Easy, brothers and sisters. This is one of ours." The lone wolf felt a sense of relief wash over him. Finally, he wasn't alone anymore. And as the night grew colder, he curled up with the pack, feeling the warmth of their collective body heat. One of the she-wolves nudged him gently and offered him some meat from her kill. The lone wolf hesitated at first, but the gesture was so kind and welcoming that he couldn't refuse. As they ate, the leader explained that they had been separated during a fight with a rival pack. They had managed to escape, but now they were without territory or food. The lone wolf listened intently, his heart aching for their plight. He knew what it was like to be alone and hungry, and he couldn't bear the thought of these wolves suffering any longer. He stood up and addressed the pack. "I may not know where you're from, or why you're here," he began, his voice echoing with determination. "But I know that we can't just sit around and wait for things to get better. We have to take action." His words hung in the air as the wolves looked at each other, a spark of hope igniting in their eyes. The lone wolf continued, "There's a deer trail not too far from here. It leads to a clearing where the deer gather every morning. If we hurry, we should be able to catch a few before they scatter." The plan was risky, but the wolves had nothing to lose. They were starving and desperate for a victory to boost their spirits. With renewed determination, they set off into the night, following the lone wolf's lead. The chase was long and tiring, but finally they managed to corner a small herd of deer. The wolves worked together, their movements synchronized as they brought down their prey. The clearing echoed with the sounds of the hunt, the crashing of hooves, and the triumphant barks of the wolves. As the first rays of dawn peeked through the trees, the pack feasted on their kill, their hunger finally satiated. The lone wolf watched them, a sense of pride swelling within him. They had faced their challenges head-on and come out stronger on the other side. In that moment, he realized that their strength lay not just in their individual abilities, but in their unity, their compassion for one another. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the lone wolf approached the limping leader. "You're a great leader," he said, admiration evident in his voice. "Your pack is lucky to have you." The gray wolf nodded his head in acknowledgement. He knew that leading a pack was a heavy burden, especially in times of hardship, but he also knew that he wasn't alone in his struggles. The wolves surrounded him, their presence a constant reminder of the strength they derived from their bond. "We may have lost some of our pack," the leader said, his voice filled with sadness, "but we still have each other, and as long as we stick together, we will find a way to survive." The lone wolf understood what the leader meant. Survival wasn't just about finding food or shelter. It was also about having the courage to keep going even when all hope seemed lost. It was about the strength that came from knowing you weren't alone in the face of adversity. As days turned into weeks, the wolves continued to search for a new home. They traveled through dense forests and across open fields, always keeping an eye out for danger. Throughout their journey, they relied on the lone wolf's hunting skills and the gray wolf's leadership. Each member of the pack played their part, working together to overcome any obstacle that came their way. One evening, as they were settling down for the night, the lone wolf couldn't help but feel a sense of unease. The forest around them was unfamiliar, and he couldn't shake off the feeling that they were being watched. Suddenly, a twig snapped behind them, and a pair of glowing eyes emerged from the darkness. The wolves tensed up, their instincts taking over. The eyes belonged to a large male wolf, his gaze fixed on the pack. For a moment, no one moved, the silence broken only by the beating of their hearts. Then the lone wolf stepped forward, his body language confident, even though inside he was nervous. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice echoing through the trees. The intruder took a step forward, and the lone wolf instinctively moved to block the other wolves from his path. He didn't know if this lone wolf was friendly or foe, but he would protect his pack with his life. "I am a guardian of these lands," the intruder replied, his voice deep and resonant. "And you wolves have trespassed on sacred ground." The lone wolf felt a surge of anger. He didn't care if this wolf was a god or a demon. It would not let him threaten his pack. He snarled back, his hackles raised, ready to defend himself. But the gray wolf raised his head and let out a calming bark. He stepped forward and said, "We mean you no harm. You're simply looking for a place to call home." The guardian wolf stared at them for a moment, his eyes searching their faces. Then, to the lone wolf's surprise, he let out a low growl that could have been mistaken for a smile. "Very well," he said, "this forest is vast. You may roam freely within its bounds, but do not trespass beyond its limits, for there you will find only danger." With that, the guardian wolf turned and disappeared into the shadows, leaving the wolves to their own devices. As the lone wolf looked towards the forest, he felt a sense of gratitude for the guardian wolf's generosity. He knew that they were fortunate to have found this haven, a place where they could finally feel safe and build a new life for themselves. From that day on, the wolves made the forest their home. They roamed its paths, hunted its creatures, and slept under its watchful trees. The lone wolf, once a symbol of their struggle, became one of their own, his bravery and loyalty earning him a place in their hearts. And so the pack grew, their numbers increasing as new members found their way to the haven in the woods. They thrived under the compassionate leadership of the gray wolf, always remembering the lessons they had learned along the way, the importance of unity, the power of resilience, and the transformative nature of compassion. If you want to hear more heartwarming stories, don't forget to share and subscribe. See you soon.